Cash Daddies, Cash Daddies, Cash Daddies, Cash Daddies,
Cash Daddies is for entertainment purposes only. You'd be an idiot to listen to anything these degenerates say. Invest at your own risk, do research, but seriously don't listen to these ass clowns. Now enjoy Cash Daddies.
And welcome to Cash Daddies. We are banking fatties because that's how we do. Even when we're just banking fatties. It's all positive here. We're back again. Thank you guys so much for your support. You're loving the show. Join me as always as everybody's favorite dynamic duo, Howie, Dewey, and Chris Neff. How are you guys?
Good, my man. Good.
Better. A little bit better. Last week was rough. We're in recovery mode.
And on the ones and twos, he's young. He has hope in his eyes. Lil Evan Hand. How are you, bud?
Fantastic.
So, guys, real quick, I just want to get some stuff out of the way. You guys have asked for merch. It's there. All you got to do is go to CashDaddiesTshirts.com, and you will find all the Cash Daddy shirts you will ever want. Straight logos. We also, starting tomorrow, before we're recording this Sunday night, they will have the ones with the animation of us on there, our drawings on there. Everybody's excited. Everybody is excited. So grab those t-shirts. A great way to support the show. I will be live in Float at the Float Fest in Texas. It is a giant show. Reed Becker, Tino Sanchez, they will be there as well. Any guys, got any dates or anything you want to push?
Hey, man, I just want to thank all the Cash Daddy fans that came out the last few nights in New Jersey. There was a lot of them.
Oh, yeah, man. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, it was great.
You guys were awesome.
We did the Dojo of Comedy inside of Tiff's in Morris Plains. All four shows packed out. Yeah. And we love you for it. So thank you guys for the support. And I look forward to doing some live Cash Daddy shows.
Yeah, I've got one announcement. We're reopening up here in California. I will be at the Spearmint Rhino having a disaster as soon as the show ends.
Well, man, everybody's talking about that. The word on the street is that you went hard in the paint one day, and you might have some kids out there from someone from the champagne room. That's what the word on the street is.
Well, rumors of my possible children out on the street could be greatly exaggerated unless somebody was, what do they call it? I used to have a joke about it when they take the semen and they put it in a syringe.
Out of your pants?
Yeah, and they put some water in it and shake it up a little bit, and then they shoot it back in the vagina and say, guess what? You're a father now. And you're like, I just paid $20 for a lap dance. I didn't sign up for this. It does happen.
Chris, you are not an NBA player. Nobody's doing that with you, okay? No one's like, I got to lock down this cat man, okay? I got to get him and his 3 cats on lockdown, okay?
There's a term for it.
It's Sunday night. We got a guest, as always. Chris, why don't you get in to who we have on the show?
We have a very, very special guest, friend of mine, who I met on the internet years ago. That sounds a little creepy.
That's where most of your friends are, Chris.
Well, and that in the post office. Anyway, we met on the internet. He was just bringing it up over somebody calling out Dane Cook for being abusive when he was working out some material at the Laugh Factory, and I wrote a piece about it. And he was nice enough to respond to me and inbox me. And then he later got me a gig, Sam, at one of a place we played in Phoenix in the day. Remember the Speakeasy? This is the longest intro, by the way, I'm ever going to.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my monologue for 38 minutes and then introduce him. Anyway.
Dear Diary.
Dear Diary. It was at the Clarion, which was Howard Hughes's room. And then Jimmy hooked me up with a spot there, and we worked together for a weekend. And I met him there. And of course, he's blown up. He's like one of the biggest things on the internet. Top 10, maybe top 5. I see him in the podcasting ranks. He has 2 amazing podcasts with his co-host, James Pietragallo. They are called Crime in Sports. and then they started Small Town Murder, and it blew up as well. So without further introduction, let me introduce you to my friend Jimmy. Give me a 6, Whisman, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Jimmy. Welcome.
Thank you,
Jimmy,
guys.
thanks for slumming with us.
Stop that. It's so nice. I love you guys. This is great. That is a fantastic intro, Chris, because that's one of my favorite stories ever to tell anybody.
Oh, me all coked up and drunk and
This son of a bitch.
What Chris Neff did right there is what we call a black comic intro, where he like your intro is like 5 more jokes that they've worked into their set.
You know, that's funny that you say that, Chris, because I've got 12 minutes about that.
As long as we're not talking about gas prices, we're all fine, and how you have to jiggle out the last drop of gas.
Yeah. No, Chris, I stayed at Chris's place. I was playing the Irvine Improv with Jesse, and I stayed at Chris's place in Glendale and drove 3 fucking hours down your stupid freeway for a 20-minute ride down the freeway. Took half the day. Yeah. And on the way back, Chris went with me. On the way back, we stopped at a casino, and I was like, Chris, we got to get out of here. We'd been there for like 2 hours or whatever. I was like, Chris, we got to. He takes like, was it $1,000? Was it $1,000 that you put down on a hand of blackjack? And you were like,
it's my minimum bet, Jimmy.
He gets a 15.
Nice way to say
We call that when Chris Neff's in deer hunter mode. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Willing to gamble everything away.
3
What were your
bullets.
cards? What were your cards?
All right, I know exactly
Gets
what
a
happened.
jack and a 5.
I've got
and
a
he just
jack
goes-
and a 5.
He just goes, hit me, give me a 6, and they throw him a 6. I'm like, are you shitting me right now?
Yes.
The dealer had a 10, Jimmy. I was playing by the book. It's the right
Yeah.
play. It's not like
gotta hit.
Oh my
gotta
god!
hit.
I was
Gotta hit.
stunned. For a guy who just worked the comedy club for an entire weekend and made $250, and this fucker says, give me a 6 and walks with $1,000. I was like, why do I even try to write dumb jokes?
Jimmy, that is kind of something interesting that you're like me, but on a bigger level in terms in podcasting. Is that
and everything.
My name's not on the wall of one of the most famous comedy clubs in the country, Sam. You're doing all
Thank
right.
you. Thank you. That pays the rent for sure. But it's this thing where now you've clicked into this internet thing, and that is what this show is about. It's like, how do we help people who have suddenly become internet rich, and not just internet rich, but people who have found a way to make money but were never taught tools of how to invest. But the one thing is, like, you're doing these podcasts, and it's like you've obviously connected with a lot of people, which is so amazing. I really want to get into that, because that's another part of the show, is like, how do people create their own businesses and stuff like that. But it's almost like the business model of stand-up comedy is so old, and it's such a different way that you're almost taking a pay cut to go do this stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and James and I, when we started these shows, that was kind of the reason and the catalyst for actually trying to do something different, because the model of stand-up comedy is so dated and old. There's been zero raise in that industry in terms of income for opener / feature / host, whatever. Since it fucking started, man, it's still $50 a show for a host. It's still $75 to $100 for a feature per show. If you're doing a weekend, you're gonna work every weekend, every month for the rest of your life to make 30 grand a year. That's crazy. That's suicide, really. And it's so painful. So the only way to really make any sort of income / headway / anything is to get on make friends with a great headliner who pays you more or whatever. But that's such a brutal way of forcing somebody to really try to be friends with somebody. I don't want to have to be friends with a comic that clearly hates me. I don't want to have to go on the road with whatever headliner and take whatever shit they give me because they can and they love it and they have fun doing it and it creates jokes and stories for them. And now I have to be a punchline to make $600 this weekend. Brutal. That's an awful way of doing life.
This is exactly what I was talking about. I put out a tweet a couple days ago, and I think it cost me 3,000 followers on Instagram, or it's just because I'm a tinfoil hat guy. They're just unsubscribing people to my Instagram, but unfollowing people. But the tweet was basically about, it's like, it's not about, and this is not meant to get political. It's not about raising minimum wage of $15 an hour. It's about getting out of a minimum wage job.
Yeah.
And figure out what you love to do and how can you make money off it. The amount of shit I got on that, I was blown away. But really, it's what you're talking about. It's like you realize this model is like, it's outdated. It's meant to never ever help you ascend. So
it's
the key
unsustainable.
is like, yes.
It's just not, it's not doing anybody any favors in any avenue. So James and I decided there are a couple avenues that you can go to make some sort of monetary stream, or really what the main goal of it is to build an audience, because building an audience is where you do anything. You don't get on off a bus in LA, do an open mic, be funny, and they give you a sitcom. That doesn't exist anymore. And it's not going to exist because late night shows are not geared towards comedy. They're geared towards what you just said, political, whatever, trying to, what late night show do I agree with most in my politics? That's who I watch. What the fuck is that? That's crazy. But that's neither here nor there. So it ruined really all of the avenues of making anything for yourself in comedy. So James and I decided you can either make a podcast or you can make YouTube videos. And we started crafting sketches to make a YouTube channel. And really what it ended up coming down to was that we felt embarrassed by it. Are we really going to just kick ourselves in the nuts for money? I don't want that either. So James came up with the idea. Say again.
Show me a skit. I love a good skit.
And YouTube doesn't, they kind of frown on tugging. And that's all I'm really good at. So,
Your improv's not good on that.
So we chose to build a podcast through James's ideas. He's made movies that were in film festivals and such. And he's very good at building a story arc. He's masterful at it. So we started with Crime and Sports, where we pick an asshole every week, a criminal athlete that didn't have to do what he did, and tell the story.
Basically all your heroes, Sam.
More or less. Yeah. Everybody from the 70s and 80s, Sam, they were all pieces of shit. But you knew that. Let's be honest.
Everybody's piece of shit. We're still pieces of shit.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true.
I mean, like, the rules are put in place to keep you there. Keep you to wait your turn. But what I love about your podcast, both your podcasts, and it's something I was talking to Howie about. So Howie, like, I had a buddy of mine. He built this YouTube channel, changed his life. Mm-hmm. And I tell people, you can do it too. Not everyone can have a YouTube channel with 100,000 subscribers. Yeah, but you can. Maybe not everybody, but you can if you work your ass off. And one thing was about podcasting, and like, you have two very successful podcasts. You're lucky to have one okay successful. To have two is amazing. And one thing I really love, and it's what I told Howie when he was coming up with his other podcast, and it's called Bad Fast, is that, when you look at the name of that podcast, you better know what that podcast is out the gate. And like crime and sports and small town murder is just like, exactly what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
And, on my show, Tinfoil Hat, I got so much shit for that name. People are like, that's the dumbest name. No one's going to do it. But man, you know exactly what we're talking about right there. It is like simple digestion. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think that's very important for people starting a podcast. Like, if I don't know exactly what your podcast is about, I mean, by the title, I might not stop to listen to it.
You're absolutely right. When we started this, and we tried our best not to veer from the fact that it's comedy also. So we tried our best to make sure that everybody knew, listening out of the gate, that we're going to be making jokes here. And so with Small Town Murder, because it's called Small Town Murder, and then the holy hell, rise of true crime podcasts since we started has been unbelievable. So we have to do a disclaimer at the beginning to let people know that, look, this isn't your Dateline. This isn't your 48 hours. You're going to get things in here that you may not like, and you're either in it or you're out. And James made the analogy that, listen, we're on the way to rob a liquor store and you're in the car too. And look, if we get caught, we're all going down. So
By the way,
you're either in or you're out.
best
Jump out.
analogy
There's
you've
a
ever heard. Write that
357
down.
in my pants right now. Are you going or not? So people, and people kind of, it feels like, I can't tell you for sure because I don't talk to each and every person that listens to our show, but it feels like that resonates in that James and I are not, and I listened to Howard Stern for years, so I kind of take the approach of, I'm not going to lie to anybody. I'm going to be who I am, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, at least I gave it my all. You know what I mean? I'm gonna admit my faults. I'll talk about my suicide attempt. I'll talk about my trash life. I'm an absolute piece of garbage, and I've been that way since jump. You know what I mean?
But real quick, that's what makes somebody asked me this the other day. They DM me. They said, "Hey, can you teach me how to be funny so I can impress my girlfriend?" And I said, if you want to be funny, you have to be truthful. And ultimately, that I found in life, anything I ever put on stage, if it came from a truthful origin point and then I took it off to the next level, I found that's always the funniest thing. The true to life stuff, the real experiences that we happen, that resonates to the viewer. And it's not just about being self-deprecating. There's truth behind it and people can identify with it. So 100%.
There's something to be said too for having some self-awareness and acknowledging that, listen, I don't like me. Everybody wants us to like ourselves, and that's all cheery and nice at the therapist's office. But the reason I'm at the therapist's office is because I don't. You know what I mean? I do that every 2 weeks. Talk to a paid professional to talk me off my ledges because I don't like me, and I'm never going to. And I'm resigned to that. That's fine because I have lots of abandonment issues, man. Lots of women didn't like me, and they broke up with me.
Our flaws eventually become what we make our living off of in a weird way, right? I mean, like, comedians are weird people. I don't know where this notion that we walk down water comes from, right? I mean, I mean, Lenny Bruce was a junkie, and that's coming from a drug addict, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Richard Pryor smoked crack. Sam Kinison shot a gun. I mean, like,
he was an alcoholic. You know?
I mean, dude, Jerry Seinfeld openly banged a 17-year-old, right? What we're killing Krista Leon right now is openly did, and everyone's like, oh my God, those titties aren't 17, right? I mean, there's nobody who walks on water, okay? And like, that's why people need to understand that. It's what else is kind of interesting is, like, I did this show this weekend, Howie was there, and it's like, I have my tinfoil hat, they're called the Swarm. And sometimes I feel like my act and who I am doesn't always fit what they want. And then after the show, they're like, they love you. But it's like, do you ever run into that? Like, who you are and what they think that you are in the show could be two different things when you perform?
Thankfully, I'm not in an avenue where, like, Bob Saget got America's Funniest Videos, and that's not the act that he wants to do. You know what I mean? And then he goes out on the road, and these family people show up, and they're like, why did he just talk about fisting the babysitter? This is crazy. Where's Stephanie? What's happening? Can you bring Uncle Joey out? I don't like this. And I never wanted to be that. So luckily with our show, I've never had to be something that I'm not. And I'm grateful for that. And when we do stand up, we did shows with Dan Cummins in Detroit. We did one at, say again.
He's the best.
I love him to death. He's so great. What a great dude. As a person and a friend and somebody to talk to. When I was going through my divorce, I leaned on him a lot. He was really cool and gave me a lot of advice. And his wife also gave me some advice. He's just a great dude. And so he took us to a show in Detroit where we did a night of stand-up and then we did a joint podcast with all three of us. And we sold both shows out, and the audience was very happy about it. And that was where I think I realized realized that this can work for doing a podcast, and I can go out and do stand-up also, and the audience won't completely matumbo it. You know what I mean? They're not going to be my host boy. Yeah. They're not going to hate me. So I'm very grateful for that. But I think that also comes from how you present yourself, and the product that you put out is you. And if the product that you put out is actually you and genuine, and the people like that, then it's going to translate from the podcast to stand up too. Bert Kreischer does it. Rogan does it. All these guys are doing the same thing, you know. And I opened for Joey Diaz. Geez, I don't know how long ago, maybe 6 years ago. Him and Ari did a one-nighter at a club here, and they paired me up with him. And sitting in the green room with Joey, the guy is a comedy Buddha. He has the answers to everything. And he blurted out so many things to me that really hit home. And I've taken all that advice and put it into my life and put it into these shows and just doing exactly what he told me to do. And it's all working. And I'm just thankful. You know what I mean? I'm not a guy who expects anything. I'm just grateful to be anywhere.
Now, question is, how do you keep it? How do you not lose what you got? And I'm not going.
That's why I'm here. Tell me, damn it.
Well, first of all, let's keep your dick in your pants.
Yeah.
Okay? Because how many times do we see so many people, whether they're in, politics or media or any avenue, and all of a sudden there's a scandal. And I know you were very conscious of this. We had a conversation about this. It's like, you've worked so hard to build up what you've got. There's got to be temptation, but you can't cross that line, because it means it's not only the end of you, but it's the end of somebody that you consider a partner and consider, a collaborator.
Yeah.
So I know that's something we talked about privately, and if it's too much, we don't have to talk about it here, but I admire the fact that you've made it this far, because you're on the top of this mountain. And I never hear, oh, wait, did you hear about Jimmy tugging last week?
Yeah.
So I applaud you for that.
Well, I appreciate that, but there also has to be avenues of actual, I hate keep saying avenues. Just there has to be opportunity for really going down a lane that's not where you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? And thankfully for me, I have a girlfriend. I'm very open about that. And James's livelihood means a lot to me. Very much like comics in LA, where you guys care about each other, and you don't want to do something to jeopardize somebody else's chances. Usually, most of the time, probably 90% of the time. Sometimes they don't give a shit. But James, I genuinely love the man, and I don't want something that I did to ruin his life. You know what I mean? So I try my best to keep my focus on keeping these shows rolling and keep just being who I am. And I also have a low self-esteem. So anytime I've gotten any sort of message on any sort of Instagram or Snapchat or whatever, first thing I say is, of course, there's a dude on the other end of this. I know that. There's no way that this hot chick thinks that I'm anything. And I could tell you a story that's pretty fun. In my opinion, I'm very happy. I'm proud of myself. Because of that, very recently, somebody messaged me on Instagram, I don't know, back in December. And it was like for 3 weeks, just like constant videos of the same chick masturbating or whatever. And I was just like, there's no way this is a woman. This isn't real. And it took a while, but I kept saying like, oh, text me. I want your number. Let's talk. And eventually they gave me their number. And look, we do a show that is
cool was the guy?
I'm getting there.
Talented as hell.
We do a show that's very investigative. You know what I mean? And I have subscriptions to things where I can search anything. And I took the phone number eventually that they gave me and ran it through a list and found it's a very gay flight attendant man in Kansas City.
Gay flight attendant man.
A gay air traveler.
That's redundant.
I'll read you the text I sent him if you'd like. I was very impressed with myself. I was just like, look, dude, it's not what I said.
Mile High Club, bitch.
I'd have to search through the phone.
But I know what you're saying. And it is weird that you kind of have to take everything in karate stance, right?
Yeah.
You gotta be like,
absolutely.
okay, what's going on here?
everybody at a distance.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust people. Number one, I didn't meet my dad till I was 28 years old. I got a lot of abandonment issues, and they're never going to be put to bed because somebody thinks thinks I'm handsome or will suck my dick or whatever it is. I don't want anything to do with that. That's not why I got in this. I didn't get in this for anybody's approval. I got in this to make people laugh and hopefully add something to I don't know, the world, to do something I can do that I'm capable of.
Now, how quick did you hit with these shows? Because the thing I really want to stress to people, because again, this isn't just talking about you doing a podcast, readers. Okay. This is about you going, what is my skill set? What do I love to do?
Right.
How can I monetize that? Is it becoming a nanny on care.com or going, TaskRabbit and becoming your own a handyman? Like, there's so many different ways. Is it creating a Patreon? Is it Etsy? Is it OnlyFans? I mean, you can say whatever you want, but
right.
they're becoming independent contractors. How quickly did it happen for you? Because I want people to understand there's going to be some uncomfortableness. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Was it the first
discomfort is
podcast
thick,
you did?
Sam.
Did it hit? Were there
No.
podcasts that fell like me? Many. Or
Yeah.
what was that process?
So when we started Crime and Sports, it did all right. But the first few weeks were not great. And it's just because nobody knows you're there. And when you're an independent guy and doing it all by yourself, you don't have networks pushing your show, putting you into lists or paying some BuzzFeed to put you in an article somewhere. That doesn't exist. So you got to do it on your own. And you've got to hope that your friends and family first are going to listen. And then they're going to tell their friends. And then hopefully 6 people tell 6 people tell 6 people. And eventually you've got, I don't know, 100 people or whatever listening. But our second Thursday, we had 12 downloads. And James he put in 40 hours of research for this episode, and to get 12 people to listen to it, I truly had to talk him into quitting or talk him out of quitting. It was scary how fast he wanted to be out. But then, it took an hour conversation for me to be like, look, dude, we're nobodies. This is what we're doing. This is what we're up against. If you're not for that, what are you for? And thankfully, he is a very smart guy, and he understands that. He knew that in the first place. I didn't have to tell him, but me telling him, look, dude, whatever you do, I'll do. If you stick in this, I'll stick in this. If you're embarrassed by it, I'll be embarrassed by it. I'll do it with you. What do I care about loss? I don't have anything anyway.
Yeah,
and he stuck with it. And thankfully, after that, we started getting hundreds, then 200s, 300s. Then in a week, we're getting 20, 30,000. All of a sudden, it's actually working. And then we started our second podcast, and we thought our first podcast would push that one, but it turned out that we hit into true crime right at the right time, because that show grabbed an audience fast. And then that one fueled Crime and Sports, and then they started feeding each other. We were very lucky.
But let's not downplay the fact that your chemistry is so organic that it's impossible not to be engaged and like you guys.
Sure.
And
I think that comes from trust, man. I really do. I trust him with everything I've got. He trusts me with everything he's got. I'd never put anything past him to where I would never suspect ever that he would be out to hurt me, and vice versa. You know what I mean? And having somebody on your team that's willing to fight for you, like we literally will fight. I'll fight for him. I'll fucking punch somebody, and to the point where it's been detrimental to my comedy, not necessarily career, but just reputation in Phoenix, where if somebody says something about James, I'll go to bat. You don't know the guy. You don't get to talk
war,
like that about
son.
And
war.
Same thing. Yeah, man, it's war. I'll boot up for James any day. And it's because
really
the guy
important.
has gotten me to a place where I could afford to not be miserable in that marriage I was in. I could get my own place, and I can pay my child support and take care of my kids. And I owe all that to James, not just James, but this audience. And I think people, I don't know where it is, but somewhere people get guided away from that, from the humility and understanding what you'd have without that. And they're willing to do whatever it takes to just sink everything in their lives. I'm not willing.
So when you listen, the people listening out there, the readers, our listeners are called readers. Okay.
I love that.
And when you guys start this gig, what you're trying to say is what you're doing is I don't want a 9 to 5 numbing job.
Yeah.
What you are looking for, what you will get, and you need to come to grips with this, is a 24/7 job.
Right.
You are CEO of Reader Incorporated. Okay. You are making the calls. And guess what? You're going to get uncomfortable.
Mhm.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. This isn't touch butt. Okay.
Yeah.
This isn't tiptoeing through the tulips, man. If you want to be your own boss, you
Yeah.
got to get ready to get uncomfortable, man. And there could be some losses. Like my tinfoil hat is the 4th or 5th show on that RSS feed. And the other ones were getting 5,000, 3,000. And then tinfoil hat blew up for me and for me, and it's changed my life. And that's why I wanted to do the shows with these guys, is help other people change their life, man.
That's huge, man. And comics in general have that. Let's spread it around and let's help everybody, because that's what this is about. If we don't help each other, nobody else is in
Abundance.
this with us. Nobody's in this for us. You know what I mean? And when scandals happen, though, it's tough to fucking go to bat for guys.
Well,
kinda-
dude, I mean, I put my head on a chopping block all
Yeah, I
the
know
time.
you do.
Eventually, it's going to get chopped off. But at this point, dude, riders
Yeah.
die with some people because like, we've learned something about comedians, and they're just a bunch of phony-ass punk rockers, in my humble opinion. They like to Rage Against the Machine, but sometimes they don't know what the machine is.
Right.
But back to this is, it's just like you create this thing and it grows, and it's like people like my father had 7 jobs. My mother went to college, raised 2 kids, and had a day job. You got to understand this is what you're doing. You're not just doing it for you, you're doing it for the next generation, your children, your nephews, your nieces, all this next generation. You're setting them up to change the course of your family. And this is what happened. Nothing easy. Nothing worth it is ever easy.
Right. Yeah. You know, and I watched that Biggie documentary on Netflix the other night, and I'm actually wearing his face on my chest right now. He died at 24 years old.
24.
Everybody knows who that man is. 24 years old. Everybody knows his name. 24 years old. That's, I mean, to make anything respectable out of hip hop at that time was near impossible. And that man did that with that face. That's crazy. That is staggering. He looked like a
dedication.
Sharpay, and he was
He
amazing.
really did.
He's just not the eyes were going in different directions, but he was so genius, so amazing, so groundbreaking. And I loved him. I still do. And if you want to be that of whatever industry, you've got to take chances, man. And his chances were obviously rap and stay on the corner and sell crack. Which one pays more money? Eventually, that's a crazy thing too. His career choices were sell crack or be in hip hop. The life expectancy of those 2 careers it's very short.
For sure, man.
If he had a good business plan for the crack thing, he would have paid a lot less taxes.
You might be right.
Gotta
But my
keep
point
that in
is
mind.
just that he took a lot of chances and changed everything for everybody. Really, the course of history is different because that man chose to be something better than what he was, and take his talent and what he believes is a gift that he can give to other people, something that he can produce and people will love, and he stuck with it. And he's amazing. He's 24. He did all that. That's
My
staggering.
favorite tweet was by Connor McSpadden. He goes, if Biggie Smalls was alive today, he'd be 450 pounds. So
COVID
real
would've got
quick,
him,
because
man. COVID would've got him.
I've been doing all the talking. I know the readers are going to tee off on me because they want to hear the Catman and the Boomer.
No, and by the way, let me just interject. There's somebody there are some people that are like 15 minutes in and they haven't talked stocks yet. That's not what this show is. This show's not just about teaching you how to make money. Or how to save money. This show's about life. This show's about
This is about taking control of your life, your finances, and your career. whether it's digitally or brick and mortar. Okay. We're not telling you have to start a podcast. We're just saying what worked for us. Okay. If you're great at baking goods, start figuring out how you can sell your goods. If you're good at building stuff, figure out how you can sell stuff to build. This is what you need to do. And just know that people with less have done more. You just have to get uncomfortable. You have to understand
you got to
that.
invest it properly. That's the key. It doesn't matter what you make. You just got to make sure you put a certain amount in the proper areas. That's the key.
And that is time and money, right, Howie? It's not just invest your time correctly.
Oh, time in. Time in is more important than timing.
Yes.
Especially if you want to talk analogous to the market. One of the best lines is time in the market equals money in the market. So the longer you're in something, the more you're going to make down the road. And the only way to do that is get into the market sooner than later.
Right.
I often think if I would have, put money away earlier, 20 years ago, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. So that's
Tell me more.
Yeah.
Speak to me, Chris, about so when somebody does get something that's fairly successful, that they are able to leave a 9-to-5 that they've been in. So for me, I worked for the power company for 18 years and I've got a 401k and a pension that's going to be sitting there. You know what I mean? And I've got to put that somewhere else, or I've got to take it and pay the taxes on it, or I can roll it into like a Roth or start some sort of.
Well, you can't roll into a Roth. You got to roll it into a traditional IRA, and then you would convert it to a Roth. But yeah, the most important thing you want to do is take that 401k, roll it into a traditional IRA, and then you can invest it, across the board. Your pension, I don't know if you can touch your pension. Some you can, some you can't. A lot of those pensions are untouchable until, you turn 59 and a half or whatever it is, whatever state you're in. But yeah, you want to roll that over.
I'm a complete moron when it comes to money, and I'm
you came to the right place.
I'm historically cheap, where I don't buy like a flashy thing. To me is buying a new 9mm or buying an old Volkswagen Bug that costs me $3,000.
Guns, dog. Invest in guns.
Yeah,
I'm all about that.
Sounds like you and Sam probably had run into each other at the same flea market, and I'm surprised you haven't already.
It is fun to be able to go out and buy guns and buy them in bulk and buy shit piles of them. And then once you have all those, you can't find one round. There is no ammo to be found. I can beat the shit out of somebody with this Canic I've got.
Hey, look out. Why? I'm going to pistol whip you. Why? Because I'm out of bullets.
I'm about to draw down and hold this gun by the fucking barrel and
just so
with it.
Just so I could cross over a reader question on Jimmy's note, Mark Zuckerberg from our YouTube did want me to ask, and I'll let Howie answer this. Should a 35-year-old begin an IRA, or is it too late? That's part one. And secondly, and also, and this is important, he wants to know, can a parent benefit financially from setting up an IRA through his 10-year-old daughter? Now, this sounds sketchy as fuck, so I'm definitely in. But is that something that can be done, Howard?
No, you can't set up an IRA for a fucking 10. Jesus Christ, no. But
no, he wants to profit off his 10-year-old's IRA.
Yeah, I wonder how he's trying to profit off her. You better get that guy's name and address. We got to check him out, man.
It's Mark Zuckerberg. Do you think it's a real name?
Yeah, something tells me he's kind of fucking yanking that shotgun that you threw into the river. But here's what I would say.
Okay, here we go. Hold on. By the way,
here's what I would say. He says 35 years old. Is that too? Dude, 35 years old, you're a baby. Come on. You're probably not going to touch that retirement money till you're 64, 65. That's 30 years of compound interest. Are you kidding me? You put $7,000 a year in that thing, you're going to have $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million. Depending if he owns his own business, like I'm sure Jimmy has this set up probably. I'm sure, Jimmy, you got to set up as like an LLC, S Corp, something.
Right.
So Jimmy can set up a SEP IRA, where I can't remember. I think he can put up to like I want to say it's like $40,000 a year into it, which grows tax deferred.
Oh my God!
Important. Yeah, you got to do that. That's very important. Forget about any other IRA. If you have your company set up as an LLC or an S Corp, you got to open a SEP IRA, because you can take. It might even be a little bit more than that. But you can take 40 grand a year, and the figure could be wrong. It may be a few thousand more, but you can take that and you can invest that in mutual funds, ETFs, direct stocks, Bitcoin, and you can diversify across the board. You can throw bonds in there, which, you know, people laugh at bonds, but the yields are going up on them right now, which eventually you'll see CDs start to go up once inflation kicks in. But you can invest across the board, and that grows tax deferred. You don't pay taxes on that. So
You know, it's funny when you do have a little bit of money sitting somewhere and you want to invest it. For me, because I'm a comedian, because I have such just low view of what self-worth is in the toilet. I always think, who am I to think that this 3,000 that I've got sitting doing nothing is now going to be lucky on top of the unbelievable luck that it took to get it? You know what I mean? It is so scary to have even a dime extra that I think that there's no way this is going to do anything else for me.
I've had that exact same mentality that you're talking about. These guys probably have too. And it's, you get a string of good luck, 1 or 2, 3 things in your mind. You're like, this is the point where I usually get hit by a car or, you know, I catch a nice disease or something. So
as opposed to the bad ones.
This is where I run into a brick wall and, you know, I get arrested or I go broke or I fall into a fucking river. But yeah, you have to have the mentality like, look, I'm on a roll, baby, and I'm doing the right things, and this is going to keep going. And, you got
to have that whole throw me a 6 mentality
Yes.
that never happens for me.
Yes.
Jimmy, when life hands you a 15 and the dealer's showing a 10, what are you going to do?
Give me a 6.
Give me a fucking 6. Okay. What you're not going to do is say, surrender. You guys have to surrender. I didn't see it on the wall. Am I allowed to surrender and take half my shit back? No, you play it by the book. You take the card and you live and die with the decision you made, which is playing the right move.
Yeah.
Now, to back up, if you're talking about what do I do with $3,000, A, you're not doing as well as we thought you were. And B,
I was just going to say,
we got a couple options for you. But do you have any money in the market at all right now?
I mean, I've got a 401k and a pension and all that stuff that's still sitting there that I've got to do something with.
Right, but this is through the electric company.
Yeah. But I mean, I've got money that's sitting, but so I had money that was invested in through a bank, I think it was through Chase, but however aggressive they want to play it, they're allowed to. I give admission or permission for them to play it whichever direction they want, and it did well for I don't know, maybe 6-8 months, and then after COVID I saw the market tanking, so I went back to the bank and pulled all the money. But they force you listen, they force you to wait 36 hours or 48 hours or whatever it is to get the money, because then you look like insider trading or whatever. So through the next few days, I lost everything that I made.
Because you took it out at the rock bottom. Like if you had not touched it and walked away and not looked at it for one more month, it would have been back to where it was. Because in March and April, when COVID hit, that's when shit just tanked.
Boy, did it.
By July, August, September, it was back up.
All right. Well, listen, that again is advice I could have used back then.
Yeah,
well,
that's a good thing to remember. It's all like Chris said earlier, it's about time in. It's tough to time. It's tough to time the market. But, if they have your pension, what the state does with your pension or whatever company, they'll take your pension and they'll give you the 4 or 5% on that pension every single year. And then they take those funds and they invest in mutual funds, getting 10, 12, 13%. Mm-hmm. Same thing as your 401k. Once you roll that over to an IRA, my guess is your 401k is probably in some real conservative stuff. Mm-hmm. You can take it and you can still keep it conservative, but with a little higher interest.
Yeah, my biggest mistake, and I mentioned this on the show, is just contributing to my 401k and just assuming that whatever they put it in was going to be the right decision for me. And then when I finally looked at it, I'm in all these bonds and I'm like, I got time on my side, man. I need to be in much more aggressive equities. Right. So the point is, and we've said this before, is read your statements. Be aware of what's coming in the mail. Look
every 3
and
months.
See or monthly for some people. So Jimmy, question is, do you have any mutual funds? Do you have any ETFs? Do you own any single stocks?
I've never heard those letters in my life.
No, dude, you're exactly what this show is about because I'm the exact same way.
Most
And it's
people.
like
Most
people who've generated money through these businesses that they started, whether it's again brick mortar, independent contractor, or internet. Nobody's teaching anybody how to invest, man, and to put your money because and the one we say this all the time, like the difference between the demographics that seem to be succeeding and those that don't are the ones that seem to understand investment and being able to invest your money and make your money work for you, because most of us grow up thinking putting our money into the bank and keeping it there is what adults do. And, based on what Neff and Howie say all the time, and that is that's literally the worst thing you could do with your money. Obviously it's great to save money, but your money's not doing any work for you in there. So
zero. It's fascinating when your grandma tells you start a savings account. You better do you have a savings account? And then you have a savings account, and then every month you get your savings account statement, and that number has never moved. Grandma, what did I do this for?
You know something? Your grandmother actually back then, your grandmother was doing the right thing, because anytime in the 70s or 80s, even early 90s, interest rates weren't like this now. Back in the 70s, if you opened up a savings account or a money market fund, shit, the interest rate was 10, 11, 12%. At one point, it went up to like 15%. We just haven't seen any inflation in years. So you put money in a money market fund now in the bank, and I think the other day I looked, it was like 0.025. Like it pays nothing.
It's nothing.
But if we
it's
go
literally
back,
nothing.
But if we go back to the initial conversation about like starting something and getting into that unknown space and being uncomfortable with it, whether it's starting a podcast or a small business, and I certainly experienced this myself, there's this, oh, fuck, how am I going to pay the bills? And it's awkward and it's uncomfortable. I felt the exact way about the stock market forever. And I assumed my money was better off having institutions handle it as opposed to myself. And then what I did when I first started is I'm going to give X amount of money to a mutual fund. I'm going to look at my IRA, and then I'm going to use my own money and see what I do. And I blew them all away. So I guess the concept is you need to get over this idea that you don't have the knowledge, or accept and embrace the fear and get over it, because you can do it. And you don't have to day trade to do it. You don't have to be up at 6 a.m. at the Bell smashing and grabbing like Howie and I do. We do it because we love it. But the idea is you need to get some education. You need to get some comfort into this idea that you can do this on your own. And more importantly, not be charged fees from these institutions to do it.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
So my whole thing is, what is our advice to Jimmy is the first step is an IRA. Is that what we're telling him, or what will we suggest to him, to our readers, first step to go in this kind of baby steps into understanding the market? Now, I feel like I relate to Jimmy. Like these guys are a lot more into like, it's like football, fantasy football versus fantasy baseball. Okay. Right. Fantasy baseball is every day. What is the pitcher? What is like, there's so much more investment in the fantasy football, which is set your lineup one day and then just, hope and pray at that point. Right. So
as long as you get it in by Wednesday, everything's fine.
And by the way, that is a great analogy, because from a gambling perspective, I think fantasy football is the biggest fucking joke there is, because you set it once a week. Okay. And if your first round draft pick breaks his leg, you're done for the season a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I prefer fantasy baseball because it's so deep and because it's so layered and because I have more options on a daily basis to make moves. I feel like I'm actually Billy Bean and managing a team and getting Scott Hatteberg in there, who looks like he hits 260, but I know his on base percentage is 400 and he's valuable. Right. So that is a perfect analogy.
Which is why you enjoy working the daily stocks, which is like analytics of where this is going to go. Where that's not as much my thing. Right. So I don't know if that's
and it's not for everybody.
Back to the original question that Sam said. What should Jimmy do first? Simple. Step one: either go to a Charlie Schwab or go to a Fidelity
Does he like to be called Charlie Schwab?
Charles, what a Chuck.
Chucky Schwab?
Old Chuck.
You go to
Known
Chuck
him
and
as
Schwab
long
and
as
you,
Howie
you just-
has.
you tell them, you say, look, I got a 401k. I need to roll it over. They're going to get your account number at the 401k. It's all done through a wire transfer. It usually takes them a day or two, 24, 48 hours, and you roll it right into a regular traditional IRA. It's going to cost you, I think, $30. And it all rolls over in kind, whatever it's in right now in the 401k. It's in some sort of funds. I don't know who the company is who has it. Doesn't matter. But you roll it into an IRA, you let it sit there, and then you sit back and you evaluate it. We'll tell you what sectors and what different things are as far as your age goes and how many years you want to have it in there without touching it and what you should expect as a return. But that's the first thing you do. Roll it over into an IRA.
Okay. So historically there's really, this is a great show that you guys do, because the path of learning investments in advertisement, in media, in movies, it is chaos. You look at trading places, they're just throwing papers in people's faces. And what is that? How does that buy you a Bentley? How do you have a giant house? You just threw a fistful of papers and screamed orange juice at somebody. What the fuck just happened? They don't describe to you or show you how you're making money or how it's working.
Learning how the stock market moves is just like trying to understand the plot of Tenet, the movie. Like, it just makes no fucking sense. And like we said earlier, it's like, what you got to do, Jimmy, when you get into this is you have to throw logic out the door and you have to go, how can I make as much money as possible? Because that is literally what investing is. The logic to it doesn't make, if you try to understand calls, puts, shorts, good luck. It just takes
also safe too. The big thing too is, and we're forgetting to tell you, is how what is your risk tolerance? And you kind of seem like you have that conservative. You don't want to lose your money.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose what you've made.
Howie, I've been broke white trash my entire life. I don't want to be broke white trash ever again.
And that's a great answer, because you can still right now invest in 75% equities, toss in some bonds, which if the market crashes, bonds actually go up. Always carry 5-10% cash, get some value in there, some growth.
This would be outside of your IRA as well.
Yeah.
And sit back and you can have a good solid portfolio with very minimal risk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the thing we need to go back to, Jimmy, is if you put money into an IRA, you're basically saying, I'm not touching this till I'm 59 and a half.
Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't mean you can't put money in a separate trading account and still buy high quality ETFs, high quality blue chip stocks, or if you're little E, throw down on a couple penny stocks just because you feel like pulling the jackpot,
Hell yeah.
And sometimes it's good to have a little action. You know what I mean? But we're talking a couple, 2, maybe 3% of your portfolio. But you can, I'm going to sneak this in right now because this is a perfect time to ask this question. So one of our readers, little Johnny Rockfuck Jr., he wrote in and he said, hey, Chris, Howie, if I could only buy one stock.
Oh, no Sam and Lil E?
No.
Lil E's been killing it. I can understand me, but not Lil E.
I'm hurt.
Yeah.
Once that oxygen gets rolling again, he'll be back on the totem pole.
We'll be talking about that.
Look, I just read the questions. Q for Chris and Howie and Lil E and the crime fighter. If you could only buy one stock and hold it for the next 10 years of your portfolio, what would it be? And this is a very good question, because I think about this all the time. And I'm like, if I didn't have time to do this and I was just going to put my money in one thing, I remember, I think it was Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's partner. He said, I only need 3 stocks. And I think one of them was Costco and one of them was Berkshire Hathaway, which technically is a holding company that owns 40, stocks at a given time, or sometimes up to 80. So it's not a great response from him, but Costco is what he said. And I started thinking about this today, and my initial response was, I'd buy Apple. And then I said, no, that's too easy. It doesn't make sense. So I'm still playing around with the question, but I guess the question, Howie, is if you could only buy one stock and hold it for 10 years with all your money, what would it be?
That's a question that I've gone over for probably 20 years. You want to find a stock and think about this in your head. You want to find a stock that is so diversified within that stock. The stock itself is almost like a mutual fund, like a Berkshire Hathaway, which he owns tons of companies in it. The stock that I've always liked, if you want a really well diversified stock, pays an excellent dividend, pays, holy shit, the dividend is 3.3%. I like 3M, MMM. 3M owns everything, man.
Yeah.
They make everything. If you look up, started off a chemical company. They've bought tons and tons of companies over the years. I used to say Philip Morris.
That's what I was going to say.
But a lot of people don't like to buy Philip Morris. I don't blame them because it starts with the whole getting kids to smoke at age 12.
What's wrong
Back
with
when Philip
Gee,
Morris
go
used
back to that
hire-
graphic. What was that? Is that the
That's-
stock itself?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
3M.
that's
Take
the-
a look at it.
It's the
Do they own
5-year
Gorilla
chart.
Glue? Is that dip right there when that chick washed her hair with it?
That's that's a 5-year. But that chart really isn't that bad. If you look at it, the high was like 240 or whatever. The low, I don't know, 140. But it pays a 3.5% dividend. If you look at that chart, the chart's headed back up. And if you want a solid stock for the next 10 years, that's tough to beat. That stock's been around forever.
So you're saying buy this stock and just sit on it?
Because it's diversified. Yes, absolutely. Sit back. Don't worry about it.
It's a great point too,
the stock's
because
been around
headliners and
forever.
cars are held together with 3M adhesive. Post-it notes are everywhere. 3M
Everything.
owns that. The things that 3M owns, it's crazy. It really is
own-
bananas and bonkers what they're attached to. That's
Everything.
an everyday product that's
I would-
everywhere.
Howie, I think you nailed it before you said 3M. I would go with Philip Morris.
Yeah.
I think they're extremely innovative. And here's the other thing. A lot of people say, I won't buy the stock if I don't like the product. And, if you have ethical reasons, that's fine. I don't play the game that
That's the
way.
only problem I've ever run into is what you just said, the ethical thing. Like I've had people say, it's a great stock. They own Kraft. They own tons of food. They own everything.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is Philip Morris was one of those stocks that was known for hiring those child psychiatrists to make sure that those 10, 11-year-old kids start smoking because you got a nice 40-year-old client.
Well,
And
let me
that
tell you
pisses
why I
people
like
off.
them. I like them because their R&D is top notch, and they're already looking into DMT vape pens. Okay, tell me you wouldn't want a DMT vape pen.
From Philip Morris? I don't know.
oh,
Oh my God.
What, you think it's going to be mind controlling or a psyop?
I don't know. Here's the whole thing. It's like, I get that. That is one thing about stocks that just not my thing. I don't really want to invest in things that I don't
Respect.
enjoy. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I get that. It's like, you got to kind of, you got to pick it what kind of investor you are. Are you like Mortal Kombat, like fucking just attacking, or I know there's a lot of stocks out there that do stuff that, how he says it all the time. It's like you can't invest emotionally, but whether it's like military industrial complex or stuff that tries to get kids hooked on stuff, that's just not for me.
Well, don't buy-
And
don't
what
buy-
Sam is saying, I used to have clients that had millions of dollars. I had wealthy clients, and I'm not shitting you. They would say, look, put together a portfolio for me, but I'm not invested in General Dynamics, which is one of the biggest military companies in the world. I'm not invested in Xerox. I'm not investing in Philip Morris. They would go down. They had certain companies like, I'm not investing in that shit because it does harm to people and you can't argue with them. So you just got to go out and find a nice little, and there's billions of stocks. So it's not a big deal.
Speaking of that,
I
Sam,
get it.
I know Howie and I have touted Palantir Technologies around here a lot. And George Soros came out and dumped all of his and said ethically, I cannot stand behind this product. And he dumped it. Now, granted, he needs a lot of money.
George Soros.
I know, I'm thinking you like that.
What is he was fucking masturbating with an ice pick and then felt something? Jesus.
Sam loves him.
Oh, I knew you'd appreciate that.
Wow.
I will say, I think the most attractive investment I've seen all week, and I don't know if you guys are aware of this because I know you're traveling a lot, but Zoltan, the Art of Getting Up, I don't know if you know, but the 4-piece that he did of us, that's an NFT that is currently on the market. Are you guys aware of this?
We
Yeah,
saw
you
him
can't-
last night, and he said he's actually put that up to sell it.
Yeah.
And it's actually doing well, he said.
Well, here's the thing, and I don't want to start any trouble here, but I'm going to own it. Okay?
You're going to own it.
Yes, of course. Why
So
wouldn't
so
I?
there's a couple guys out there that are actually putting some money to helping pump up this our Reddit. You know, I want to give him some shouts real quick. The Dealer 82, holla at your boy. BG David, thank you. Bitcoin Booster, Jades.x, hello. Ladies, hello. And then Sally Cream, which sounds like Neff's name at the strip bar. Okay. So.
By the way, just another
The
side
bouncer
note.
calls him as he comes in.
Sally-
Hey, lady, Sally
We got
Cream's
salad
here.
creams here again, guys.
Chrissy cream cheese.
Salad cream, would you like your table up front? No, I prefer the champagne room. The Deal 82, by the way, is going to be the mod on the Discord on the stocks channel.
Okay.
But Evan, do you mind pulling up the NFT? Because I would like to explain to Jimmy what an NFT is.
Which then I want to talk to Jimmy about some digital currency, then
Sure.
get into our picks for the week.
Sure. So if you go to the Reddit page, he posted it, or maybe I think it's on the Discord. He's already got this thing listed, and it's already being bid up at $620. You aware
How
of this?
great is that? I am so
Well,
happy, dude.
Hey, he deserves it.
Zoltan
Dude, Zoltan's girlfriend was
was
pumped
a
up.
fan of this show from the jump,
Yeah.
day one.
He's
And
awesome.
like he listened to it the first time, he's like, dude, that's a great show. And he's, he does our artwork for us. And then when you brought that up, man, I go, hey man, that'd be great for Zoltan. And it's good that it looks like this is happening. So shout out to
It's
Zoltan.
Little E.
Killing
It's
it.
on
Got a
the Cash-
good looking girl too. Congrats.
It's on the Cash Daddies Reddit. It says, I'm all about that action dog. That's the link. So anyway, Jimmy, if you're not familiar with, are you familiar with cryptocurrency at all, Jimmy?
Got it.
Listen, they need to name it something better because that horrifies me.
Okay, well, just so you know, you can get your own Jimmy coin, whatever. Okay, so this currently is available to bid, and an NFT, Jimmy, is what is now being referred to as a non-fungible token. So
What's
basically,
fungible mean?
hold on. This basically means it's a one of one in the art world digitally that you can own and nobody else can own. Okay. So it's just like we know, like cryptocurrency is digital and there aren't assets behind it.
How come you didn't zoom on my face?
I did. I
didn't see the
did.
zoom on my face.
See,
didn't my-
I zoomed in between the two of us.
I have like a Brad Williams 2 floors of face.
To answer your question, fungible are what my pants look like when I'm at the strip club.
So the reason I think, Jimmy,
Fungible.
you might be interested in cryptocurrency, okay, is that it is in my humble opinion, even though people do try to treat like it is almost the opposite of day trading. There are coins that people do that with this Dogecoin. They buy it, they wait till it shoots up, they sell it, and this coin goes up and down. At this moment, that is its practical purpose. But these other coins are coins that you buy and you sit on for years, which for somebody who isn't really affluent, like even me, I don't know a lot about stocks. These guys are kind of taking me through it and I'm learning as I go. But digital currency is a really great thing to get into right now. Because it's like my friend, who I'm going to have my friend Craig on. He's one of these, what I call these crypto pirates, right? And they're just really into the cryptocurrency. And he's like, getting into cryptocurrency right now is like getting in to the stock market when Wall Street first opened.
Wow.
Because
And
it's so
explain
brand
to me
new.
what a Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, what's the difference between the two? Is Bitcoin just a cryptocurrency?
Yeah,
And
it's a
cryptocurrency
type
is the
of
umbrella that all these.
cryptocurrency.
Okay. And it's what it all falls under. And you can create your own?
You technically can, but let's not get into that right
Okay,
now
yeah.
because that's a totally different thing
Yeah.
than what we want to talk to you about, okay, which
Okay.
is where to invest. Now, we've talked about this before. Bitcoin is the sun, and all the other coins basically
Understood. Yeah.
revolve around it. It is the version of gold. It's basically a digital version of gold. It is something that you basically hold until it skyrockets, then you sell when you need it, and you shouldn't sell it for a long time.
I'm all about those digital versions as long as you're mispronouncing names, bro.
What did I do?
You just called it a digital virgin. So
What do
I'm
you-
in.
I don't know what that means, but that's fine.
Digital version. You said digital version, but you
Digital version. Okay.
Yeah, you went G real hard on the version.
You'll be making those
Cat,
soon.
man. I'm
Let me
trying to
get
get
one of
get
those
those in a
digital
couple years.
versions.
poetic here, and you're catching me on my fucking
No, hey,
verbiage.
everybody loves your Bitcoin around the sun analogy.
Okay, that's all I'm
every
saying. So
time.
Bitcoin. Now, if you're new to Bitcoin, you're gonna look at Bitcoin and be like, "Oh, it's at 50 grand. I'm too late." No, you're not.
Mhm.
It is literally you can buy now on crypto.com, which is a wallet. Now, a wallet is where everybody buys and stores their crypto. You can buy $1 worth of Bitcoin now. That's how much you can break it down to. You can literally just buy $1.
That's awesome. And
Yes.
How much? So how is Bitcoin the stuff that the guy bought when it was like worth aluminum foil and then he got locked out of his account? Is that
Yes.
a possibility?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
And
not
that's
a possibility. No,
Okay.
if you buy it on a pretty safe exchange like Voyager.
No,
like-
it is a possibility that you could lose it because they want to try to make it as hard as possible for people to hack in and steal your
Okay.
Bitcoin. Now, does it happen? Yes, it can happen. I mean, it's
Yeah.
the internet. That's what's
How
going
much
on.
money must you have to lose your password? You know, like how that guy's going to be probably okay. I can't imagine that is the only stream of I imagine he's got so
Yeah,
many
for
things.
sure.
That's why he forgot a
But
password.
Jimmy, keep in mind when he bought it, it was worth
Yeah.
like $8.
It was worth nothing, right?
Yeah,
So he
it was
didn't
worth
care.
nothing. He didn't really lose anything.
But that's what we're getting into now. There are coins that aren't Bitcoin. Most of them are based off of another coin called Ethereum backed. But there are coins right now
Mhm.
that are available for $1.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about one that I just bought at 4 cents. Okay?
None of this scares you guys to shit in your pants or Chris come in your pants. This is horrifying to me. When somebody came to you on the street and was like, "Look, I got 3 Ethereum. How much you got? I'll give
by the
I'll give
way,
them to you cheap."
In New York, a guy sold Chuck E. Cheese tokens as Bitcoin, and people were buying them.
That's awesome.
That's what
Wow.
scares me to death. I'm
But-
afraid I'm going to buy the Jack and the Beanstalk beans from somebody, and I'm going to be the asshole in 5 years where everybody's going to be like, the podcast guy spent all of his podcast money on some Jack and the Beanstalk. Look where he is now.
Honestly, I think NFTs are where the
Yeah.
money is at right now because people are having the same reaction they had when crypto came out. They're like, I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me. If
Yeah.
you don't understand it and it doesn't make sense, in 10 years, it's probably going to be worth a shit ton of money. That's
By the way, Neff, I think it was you or Howie was asking like, who's behind all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think we found out who it was. Why am I getting all weird now? Great. Hold on. I'm melting now.
We can hear you perfectly.
we
That's
can
the
hear
good
you.
news.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
And that's all that really matters at this point.
Oh,
hold
you're
on a
better.
second. Oh, okay, there we go.
So going back
Okay.
though, like I'm more scared of. Look, it's exciting as fuck to think about getting invested into something that's 20 years from now going to be Apple. Who knows? And that's super exciting. And then I also have to wrestle that excitement and I don't know, amazing thought with the ethics that I have of maybe I just invest it safe and go with Walmart and then I buy a
There's
pool one
nothing
day.
wrong with
Sure, it's
Walmart.
got
It's a
scum
great
on top
stock.
because it's got Walmart money that funded it, but I've still got a pool where I could have put $2,000 into Bitcoin and I'd have one Bitcoin.
Wait a
that
minute.
is
You
worth
only
nothing.
have $2,000?
No.
I thought you had
As
$3,000.
this show goes on, I'm
Chris.
losing money.
He's not gonna come out and show us his bank statement. I mean, what do you want him to do?
Jimmy,
Chris always wants to know what you
Jimmy,
got.
do you need a loan? Do you need a loan, Jimmy?
I thought that's what this was. I was coming to my daddy's for cash.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, have you seen Shark Tank? This is Skank Tank.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, Jimmy, with all this stuff is maybe you just start super simple. You don't buy a bazillion dollars
Right.
of your fucking small town murder dollars, right? And you don't buy a whole Bitcoin. Maybe you just buy a little bit until you can see like, oh, this is what it's about.
Yeah.
So start simple, which is something I want to get into. Can we get into our picks for the week and what we really like? While we're on, okay, Bitcoin, can I tell you my pick of the week that I would like to get into?
Sure.
Okay. So I have some friends, again, they're crypto pirates. They're really into this. And again, like my friends work blue collar jobs and they're really into crypto. They all believe this is generational wealth changing.
So we're getting
opportunity.
advice from grave diggers, is what you're telling me.
Hell yeah.
Hey, dude, grave diggers dig graves, bro. That's an honest job, bro.
Yeah.
It's an honest job.
I'm not saying
You know what?
isn't.
You know what?
But
Some
they all-
grave diggers, they have 3 cats too. They're people. All right. They're fucking people. So let's leave the grave diggers alone. Shout out to
You
all
really,
the grave
you
digger,
really
grave digger.
reference
Some of them
the
drive a
grave
giant
digger.
monster truck called grave
Called the
digger.
There
grave
you
digger.
go.
Hey, I was gonna go there, but I didn't want to swing low.
Right.
Okay. So they're invested in this, man. You know, it's like I'm really liking, like, you know, obviously the stock market took a giant crap over the last couple of days. And Bitcoin, I mean,
Not the
excuse me,
stock
digital-
market, the tech, the NASDAQ, not
Thank
the
you.
stock market. The
Okay.
Dow actually went up.
Okay, boom. Now we learn. And knowing
Well,
is half the battle.
But and let's stay on the subject, Howie. Why don't you break down the Dow and the DAC for Jimmy? Just as long as we're doing a little educational group talk.
Please do.
There's 3 major markets. You have the Dow, which is a ton of stocks, old school industrial stocks. You have
And that's the
S&P.
one that they've been touting because it's been growing like a bastard, right?
I mean, it's been around forever. The
Yeah.
Dow's been around. That was the beginning of the stock market. The NASDAQ's probably the most recent. That's mostly your technology stocks. The difference is this, Jimmy, on the Dow or the S&P, the Dow, you're only going to have 3 symbols. It's going to have 3 letters, or 1 or 2 or 3 letters. Like F Ford is 1, GE, that's 2, 3M, MMM, that's 3. The NASDAQ, you're going to have 4 symbols. You know, Apple, AAPL, Netflix, NFLX. Those are mostly your technology stocks on the NASDAQ. That's gotten crushed over the past week and a half. It's got hit. But even while the NASDAQ's going down, the Dow, which is a lot of old school stocks, been around forever, that's actually gone up. The S&P's actually gone up a little bit. So that's the difference in the 3 right there.
And the S&P 500, Jimmy, it is just the 500 largest stocks by
Got
market cap
Got
in between the Dow and the NASDAQ.
Yes.
Has the internet changed the game with stock trading in that if you are not following the Reddit, I don't know, I've
Wall
never
Street
been on
bets.
Reddit in my
Street
life. I don't
bets.
know what those are called. But if you don't chase those investment guides and understand what some guy in Boston is throwing all his money behind, and then there's a whole thing on Twitter about hold the line. If you don't pay attention to that, are you going to potentially lose your ass?
If you're buying meme stocks, you do need to pay attention to that.
Yeah,
and
if you're gambling on a couple wild stocks that actually don't make a lot of sense that they're going up, but if you're a normal investor, it has absolutely nothing to do with anything you'll ever do.
Okay, because that horrifies me to think of, like, because that's what I guess the media wanted to make you think, because there was some dude in Boston who made a shit pile of money, and then some guy sold one business and bought a bunch of GameStop with it, and he made a shitload of money, and they were like, he ruined so-and-so day traders' lives. And I was like, well, what does that mean for me? What if I was invested heavily in Netflix?
Jimmy, you got to start real simple, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's like buying simple stocks and just see how it works. And then, you know, it's like, you know, Chris and Howie and Lil E are really great for hitting up for information, when to sell. When I get called paper hands fucking dildo all the time, and then we got diamond hands out there. So this is like what you got to do, man. It's like, again, don't rush into it.
Mhm.
I think you
Just
need to
roll over
spend a
that
little
IRA,
time.
man. Roll
Yeah.
over the 401k into the IRA. That's all you got to do.
But
Okay.
So
but
I
if
want to
you-
get into these real quick.
okay, go
Chris,
ahead.
Okay, go
ahead.
on, Chris. I wanted to
Oh,
get
no, I was
into
just gonna
this
say, but
because
if you
my
wanted
phone's
to
about to die.
If you wanted to take half of that $2,000 that you have, you could take 1,000 of it and buy like 4 or 5 stocks,
Yeah.
through a trading account and just see how they move. And
Okay.
buy the best advice I ever got is buy companies you like, buy companies you use.
Yeah.
Are you an Apple guy? Buy a little Apple. Do you prefer Costco over Walmart? Get yourself some fucking Costco. But this way you can at least see how the market moves on a day-to-day basis, and you don't have to buy hundreds of shares. And let's say a stock like Costco trades in the mid 300s. You don't have to buy a full share, because now all these newer brokerages, they have what are called fractional shares. So you can buy an eighth of a share of Costco, or
Which is kind of what digital currency is.
That's
you don't have
great.
to buy a
Yeah.
whole thing
Yeah.
of Bitcoin. You can buy a part of a Bitcoin.
I love that.
And speaking of, what we're talking about with meme stocks is, was it no Sam and I? Yeah, I mean, this Discord of ours is blowing up, and there's some really great real-time information that the guys are posting in there. Specifically, the Deal 82, he's crushing it in there. I want to say Bohigo. I'm probably getting your name wrong. I apologize. But these guys, I'm literally watching them because I was trading and I was reading, and I just woken up and my eye was glued shut because I had my sty and I couldn't see. And I'm looking at these
Fell
guys.
asleep with your boxers on your face.
Stop eating your cat's asses and you won't get styes.
Yeah, apparently you missed last
Spackle
week's.
his eyes shut.
You missed last week's apple. I did get cat butthole in my eye. And by the way, it happens. So if you have a cat and it sleeps on your pillow, make sure and launder that pillow on a daily basis.
This is not a cat podcast. Okay, stop giving out cat advice. We got 9 minutes left. Okay, can we get through it?
Yeah.
Hold on.
You're the Jackie Collins of fucking financial advice. You write romance novels explaining everything.
My favorite is we got 9 minutes left because you got a jam. You know how many comments we got are like, where's Sam jamming to at 9 o'clock on a Sunday? He doesn't have shit to do. We're trying to learn.
I always have shit to do.
Buddy, you have shit to go sketch is what you have to do.
I
We're
got
trying to
no
drop.
do. I want
Okay.
to sketch.
Okay. So back to it. These guys talked Sam and I into buying GameStop. So we're in this meme stock. And for example, Jimmy, this stock is trading at $4, where it probably belonged back in the fall. And because of the short squeeze, it moved to 14 to 40 into 100 and eventually 350. Wow. And then it crashed back down, and then it went back up, and Sam and I bought it. So we're in the middle of this shitstorm as we speak. And this
I sold mine.
Oh, you did? You paid
Smart move.
it?
Smart move.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
I'm
Howie
willing-
said.
'Cause we're gonna
Oh.
take a beating tomorrow. We're gonna take a beating in tech tomorrow.
And you know what my prediction is?
Okay.
GameStop goes back up.
You think it's gonna go up, Lily?
Yeah.
I agree.
Maybe.
There's a direct
But
correlation that if the market is doing shit, GME just skyrockets, and then the other way around, like it's crazy.
Yeah, we'll see. It's at the same price. I don't know. I think it'll
It's-
retreat.
It's gonna go up.
All right,
Never
guys, let's
underestimate-
get into our
That's it.
picks real quick.
Okay.
Right.
Never underestimate internet trolls who love to ruin everything.
I think
ruined
that's
2
what
comedy.
that stock is always
It
going
is.
to be.
It
It's
is.
going to be a seesaw, but up
Yeah.
and down, up
Yeah.
and down, because that's what people. That's the same thing with Dogecoin. Okay, they're just going to keep doing that. Where it goes up, it goes down. That's the coin you got to watch.
And Jimmy, just a quick shout out here to my buddy. I have to bring this up because it's
Christ,
crypto related.
how about this? How about Neff? You
You
do
have
shout
nowhere
outs
to
at the
go.
end of the show when all of us can go on with our lives. You do shout outs to your high school sweetheart.
No.
Who just come on, dude.
God damn it!
Let's go, dude. We want to get into the investments.
Sam, start us off. Start us off, Sam.
No,
Oh,
What's
I-
your pick,
okay.
Here's
Sam?
what I like. Here, listen to me, man. I told you guys about Mana decentralized land. It's starting to move up, man. It's looking good. Again, This is what the nerd dorks are going to be using in their virtual land. And this is the basically the token that they're going to use to buy goods, buy land in this virtual land. So, I mean, I'm actually thinking about buying a big chunk on top of what I already have, man. So like when so I store most of my coins on Celsius, right? Which is this wallet that I get interest on. And based on which coin's doing the best, it will move up, right? So you obviously Bitcoin I have most, so it's the highest. Then Ethereum, but decentralized land is now my fourth best digital currency over Stella and Ava, because I don't have enough Ava to be up there. But it's right there with XRP, which we've talked about, which is talk about either love ya or hate ya stock. You know, the people, it goes back to kind of like, do you want to buy Philip Morris? Like that is what XRP is. Do you want to buy the banker's coin? Well, you know, the whole point of crypto is to get away from the whole system. Well, they're going to blow this coin up because they're going to use it to buy out all the debt that they've cost. So
Mana.
Mana
XRP.
is, I'm telling you, Mana, MANA, decentralized land. I like that one a lot. I like this one that I got on Coinbase called REN, REN. And this coin is all about opens protocol for transferring cryptocurrencies between blockchains. Like to me, that is a real need in the digital currency. And it took a little beating today, but it's slowly going back up.
All right.
So that's the one. But my pick right now
Mana
is this one called REN is REN. That's you'll find on Coinbase. Okay. But the one I really like right now that my cryptocurrency pirate friend Craig says is VeChain Thor or VET. VET. You can find it on Coinbase. Excuse me, you can find it on crypto.com.
Okay, so you have, just so I have it clear, REN, Mana, XRP, and VET, correct?
Yes, VECHAIN or VET. I got a nice chunk of that, and it's going up, man.
And which
I
is the
like
one
this coin a lot.
Mana's the one that does the Sims virtual world, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
This coin, okay, derives its value. This is what it says from activities created by members within the ecosystem. So, okay, so the more people use this coin, the more it goes up.
Yeah.
I really like this coin. So I bought a big chunk. This is the coin I told you about, guys, that I bought at 4 cents. 4 cents.
Shit.
Okay, so get on there, buy some crypto on your Coinbase, transfer it to your crypto, or because sometimes these banks won't let you buy crypto on certain wallets. They'll let you do it through Coinbase. That is the starter kit.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you start. You
Jimmy.
really deep crypto pirates, you can do it your system. But
Jimmy, you
that's
don't
what I
have to
did.
be a deep crypto pirate. You can just be you, Jimmy Whisman, and open up a Coinbase Pro account or Coinbase account, and we can get you started. Which is
Start a little bit, Jimmy.
All
I'm
right.
telling
I don't
you,
need a
get in
nickname
now.
or run
Nope.
a flag up a flagpole or anything.
Nope. Keep your
Okay.
Jolly Roger in your pants, buddy.
Yeah, but it might get jizzed on by Neff.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, start simple. Those are the three that I like. And Polygon's doing well. It went down a little bit, but again, I told you about Polygon, and that was the one that the coin that they said they fixed the gas prices for an Ethereum coin. So that's my picks right there.
Howie?
All right. Look, stay with it. We're still up in DSX. I gave a stock last week. Verizon actually went up last week. One of the very few stocks that went up. I love Verizon. Stick with it. Huge dividend, 4.5%. Everyone knows. I told everyone last week on the show. I sold FSR at 28. I bought it back at 22. It dropped to 21. I bought it again. So I hold it at like 21.50. So for the bounce. I'm sticking with this stock, guys. You want my stock of the week? I'm telling you right now, $13 and change. Buy the shit out of General Electric, GE.
Homer.
GE's not one of these old stocks like it used to be. It's under
I
all
love
new
GE.
management. They just made a huge deal with their turbines. Stocks at 1360 probably will open up a little lower than that tomorrow. The NASDAQ tech continues to get hit. I called this 2 weeks ago. I told you guys that we're probably going to get a 2,000, 2,500 point drop back, and it looks like we are. You got to have some solid stocks in your portfolio right now. Oil is going through the roof.
Of course it is.
The ETF OIH, which I started talking about, it was like 180. That's at like almost 220 right now, and it's going to be up again tomorrow. But my stock of the week, keep it simple, buy General Electric, GE. I don't think you can go wrong with it right now.
I love
Great
that.
new management, new CEO. Finally got them out of the hole. They had horrible management the last 5, 7 years.
You know where you always see new management? Fucking massage parlors.
Turnover there's pretty high.
There's only one. There's only one open in New York right now. It's there's lines to get in.
Oh, those poor girls got carpal tunnel.
Dude, it's terrible.
Oh,
That's my pick of
GE is
the
one
week.
of the oldest companies in America too, and just it's reliable and it works. It damn works. If it's GE, it works. So granted, it doesn't work. It used to not work for long, but they've done something really great with their Edison bulbs, and they're really focusing on being an energy powerhouse that actually creates real products. I really like that company.
By the way,
That's what they're doing. Yeah.
by the way, when Howie said GE, I heard Jimmy go, "Oh, I love GE," and I thought I heard my grandparents coming. It was just too fucking weird.
I don't know how you
refrigerator,
know
it
what
still
your
works.
I don't know how you know what your fucking grandparents sound like coming. That's got to be weird.
Well, I
Neff,
do.
what are your
Chris.
picks?
Well,
It's great that you have such good relationships.
First of
Chris.
all, before I get into my picks,
Oh
shout
God,
out.
here we go.
Shout out! It's a
Jesus
crypto
Christ.
related
What are you,
shout out.
Casey Kasem right now? This one goes out to 2 lovers in Ohio. Let's go. Get the picks.
Go! Okay, so here's the thing. One of our readers who was very reluctant to join the Discord is one of my friends, Rob McKittrick. Great guy, funny guy. Actually, just finished writing Wedding Crashers 2, and he's giving me shit because I don't have time to respond. And I'm like, you got to join the Discord. And he was like, well, I just wanted to get on there and post about my crypto, my 46 bagger. And I wanted you to know about this, Sam, because you know crypto more than anybody here. He said he bought Hoge coin, not to be confused with Doge, but Hoge, Hoge, bought 150 worth of it on February 10th and just cashed out for 7K.
Wow.
Yeah. So before you start dissing my shout outs, you might want to just back up the truck, listen a little bit, and you can make some money instead of having to jam wherever the fuck you're
Wow,
going
look
to.
at that. That is nice, dude. That's a nice jump.
Look at that.
That's a nice jump. What's it trading for right now?
Looks like it's on headed back south again.
What's that
But
trading
again-
at 1/1000th of a penny?
Yeah. Now here's the thing, Jimmy.
Where do you get that? I'll buy all that.
Yeah, that looks like a retirement fund right there. That is a fantastic. And then it's literally a millionth of a penny.
You
What?
can buy
Exactly.
the whole company for $5.
So again, this is what I consider like the equivalent of penny stock purchasing in the crypto world. So you got to be careful. But on to my picks. I'm probably going to be accused of being a pump and dumper again for making this pick, but I am literally going after that Cash Daddies NFT. Can you pull up the current price on it, Lil E? And obviously I'm biased. It's in the chat. I put it in the
Yeah, I
chat.
got it.
I'm
You
biased.
talking about the cartoon?
Yeah,
Yes.
That's your investment?
30.
it's one of them. Oh, laugh now. But Cash Daddies is on the remember the space program when they
I hope
started?
you're right. I hope you're right.
And they were putting monkeys in space. That's where Cash Daddies is right now. We haven't even gotten a man into orbit. So I'm getting in on this one of one NFT. It's what is it at? $520 with 5 days left. My prediction,
It's at $31.
$31.
$31.
I'll set the over under that this thing sells for over $1,000. It doesn't matter because I'm going to own it. But if anybody wants to take some side action, I say that thing goes for over $1,000.
It's like you're pumping one of your own cats right now. Like you're getting ready to sell one out of the 3 cats, and like you're pumping Whiskers up. Like she's got 3 good solid years left, man. I think you should take some dick. I think you should own Whiskers, man.
Her
I am
name's
horrified. Chris,
Mom, Howie.
Chris,
Her name is Mom.
Chris, did you mistake the $$ for a 5? What just happened?
I think he did. I think
Oh,
he
did I?
Yeah.
So how much is it going for?
$31.
Okay, I still. How many days left? 5.
Yeah.
5 days.
I bet you that thing goes for over 5 or
What does
over
it say?
1,000.
Hold on, but go back to that.
Buy now at $104.
Go back, Lil E. Why does it say buy now? Last bid. What is that? 104?
No, that's the buy now price.
Oh,
You
shit.
just want to buy it.
Yeah, you can surpass. Like you can just go past all the bidding phase, and you can buy it for $104.
I take that back. It'll go over $90, guaranteed. If somebody buys this.
All right, Lil E, what is your pick?
Hey, that was my NFT pick. I still have a pick, man.
Oh,
Dude.
Jesus.
Jesus.
You dropped 5 crypto picks.
Yeah, in 3 minutes.
Okay. Jesus.
You have chapters.
Okay, so here's what I like.
You're doing a headline set for your picks, and
Yeah.
he wrapped up the host pick in
that
the
reminds
specials.
me.
For
That
Christ's sake.
reminds me of an old pick I used to do. Okay, are you guys familiar with Roblox?
Roblox.
Roblox.
Yeah.
Boomer.
Well, it's a company that's been around for quite some time, but they are doing a direct listing on Wednesday. And if I know my Wall Street bets, like I know my Wall Street bets, this has serious meme potential. So I am going to buy it at direct listing, which is not an IPO. Do not be confused. On Wednesday. So that is the only play I'm really planning on. I did trim some
What's the symbol?
RBLX, I believe. Lil
Yes.
E?
Yes.
Yeah. RBLX. So I'll be buying them on Wednesday. And then I'm keeping a fair amount of cash on the sidelines right now. I already dollar costed into KLR, which you've heard me speak about. I dollar costed into SCR, the score, and I dollar costed into GMBL, which I just love. I did buy more GMBLW. So I'm going to keep my cash on the sidelines until Wednesday because I think we do have a little bit more of a dip. But those are my picks: Roblox and
Roblox.
Roblox.
I'm interested to see how that does. Keep me posted on returns you get from Roblox. That's fascinating.
I got a better idea, Jimmy. Why don't we just set up an account for you and you can buy your
Okay.
own fucking stocks and watch them on your own goddamn
Jimmy,
time instead
You
of blowing
should
up
go
my
to
shit.
E-Trade and
Yeah.
start the setting up process.
Charlie
I'm gonna do
Schwab.
Or
I'm gonna
Charles
go to
Schwab.
Chucky. Old Chucky sounds
Good
Hello,
reliable.
old
Chuck.
Chucky.
Jimmy, go to Chuck because then you can buy fractional shares.
Okay, so real quick.
One more
Lil-
thing. I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
Evan, what are your
All right.
picks? What's the young G, Little E's pick?
I sound like a broken record, but for the 3rd time, OCGN, we are going to the moon.
Let's
Listen,
go. Evan.
What's it
I'm
trading
doing
at right now?
right. Well, it's after hours. That's at
I mean, or what will
so
pick
it
up?
it closed at 874.
It's about 9.
Closed at 874. Now it's at 988. Okay, but let's just think about it. It was 81% efficacy. The other day it was released. The stock skyrocketed 30-40%, and that's not even with FDA approval or anything like that. I think this thing could go to 25 realistically. That's just what I'm saying, and I think it has a little bit of a push from Reddit. So if this thing does actually take off, it may actually take off more
And
than
you're in at $3, right?
332, I believe. So I'm holding until if I make $2, I make $2. I'm holding it to the moon, but I'm tripling down.
One last question for Jimmy. It's a reader question from Johnny Little Rock Fuck. Have you ever had a romantic explosion mid lap dance in your pants?
No, Chris.
So it's
Nobody
just,
has.
Bullshit.
You're
Actually,
it.
Bullshit.
I
You're
talked
the
to
guy.
I talked to my buddy yesterday. He said he has done that, and it cost him $150.
Wow.
Clean up
Oh my
on
God, she's
clean
like,
up on aisle 9.
It was
That's
the most
expensive
expensive
plant.
nut he's ever had.
guys,
Yeah.
this has been Cash Daddy. Jimmy, thank you so much for coming on.
You guys.
We could go on for hours if Chris Neff had his way. He just enjoys talking to people. You know, cats get weird after a
Couldn't
while.
go to the post office this weekend.
Guys, thank you so much. Real quick, guys, we're gonna go around. Chris, what is your social media?
It's Chris Neff Comedy on Twitter and then Horsetooth on all other platforms.
Lil E,
Evan_hand everywhere.
Howie,
Howie_Dewey, Twitter, Howie Dewey, Instagram.
and everyone's excited about new Bad Fast coming out. And finally, Jimmy, where can they find you?
Oh, at Whisman sucks, WHISMAN sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Actually, not Snapchat. I deleted that shit. Also, at Murder Small for the show on Instagram. This has been really great. Thank you so much.
Hey,
Sam.
when's your
Come
next
by
show?
anytime, dude.
When's your next
live show? Shit.
No, Small Town Murder.
We put our podcasts out, Crime and Sports every Tuesday and Small Town Murder every Thursday. And then we put out bonus material for Patreon on the weekends. And I really want this shit to all end so we can get back on the road, man. Road shows there's nothing more rewarding than live comedy. And I really cannot wait to get back.
All right, man.
Right.
Don't hang up after we end this. I want
Yeah.
to talk to you real quick. All right, guys. This has been Cash Daddies. You can find me at Ronan Sam Tripoli and at Sam Tripoli on Instagram. I've had 3 years. I've been at 70. I was at 77. I woke up today. I have 72,000 now followers on Instagram. So enjoy me while you can. And thanks, guys, so much.
Just
We
one
love the
more
show.
thing. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay, guys.
All right.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care. And hey, enjoy investing.
Cash Daddies. Cash Daddies.